With setup and testing out of the way, it's time to install some cable. We put a lot of thought into designing the Gulfstream to be extremely simple to operate with user-friendly controls that you will have mastered in no time. Let's see it in action.
So now that we've performed our crash test, it's time to install some cable. Here I have our cable we're going to be working with today. What I'm going to do is slide it into the back end of our Gulfstream 300 here. The next thing I'm going to want to do is get some cable seals for our size of fiber. I'm going to go to our seal kit and get our seal size we need for our cable. Now the Gulfstream 300 takes 2 cable seals, so we'll get those 2 seals out of this bag here. And we can take and slide them onto the cable like so. We want to make sure that the cone is pointing down the duct that we're going to be installing into. So the next thing that we're going to want to do is get the duct pack for our specific size duct that we're going to be installing into. So I'm going to go to our duct pack kit here. We open this up and we get our size duct pack that we're going to need. And inside this duct pack includes the duct seals. Now with the GS300 we'll use 2 duct seals as well. So we'll take the 2 duct seals out of this bag here. We'll take our end of the duct and we'll slide the cable seals on just like so. So next I'm going to take the duct pack for our size duct that we're going to be installing into. We'll take the bottom half that has the air inlet here and we'll insert that into the air block. We'll make sure we line it up properly in there with the grooves. And we'll take our cable with our cable seals and position them like that inside of the duct pack. Alright, the next step to do is take our duct with our duct seals, slide it over the cable, and position it inside of the duct pack. Take the top half, sandwich it all together, close it down, and secure it tight. Okay, so now that we have our cable routed through our Gulfstream 300 and our duct brought into our air block with our duct seals and our cable seals, we can close our guard, make sure our hands are free, and we power up the machines. So first, we'll do our air. We'll take our air compressor hose here, and we'll come and plug it in. Okay, so the last thing we have to do before we can begin installing our fiber is we need to power up our Gulfstream 300 here. So I'm going to go to our kit and I'm going to get our power cord. Here we have our power supply cord. Now I'm going to take the end that fits and thread it into the back of our Gulfstream 300 QC. So now that I have our power cord threaded into the back of our Gulfstream 300 QC, I'm going to take this end and I'm going to hook it up to our power supply. So we got our power supply out of our kit here, and we're just going to thread these 2 ends together. Now I have our power supply hooked up to our power cord in our Gulfstream 300. I'm going to go get our wall plug power cord. So here we have our wall plug cord, and we just thread it into our power supply here. Now we can plug this into our outlet and we'll have power at our Gulfstream 300 blower here. Alright, now that we're all powered up with our Gulfstream 300, we're ready to begin installation. What we're going to want to do next is recall our clamp force down setting and our push force setting that we established in the crash test. So here we're going to crank this down. We reference our etched marks here on the shaft. And then we'll go to our push force menu here on the Gulfstream 300 and we'll set our push force according to what we established in the crash test. Now before we begin any installation, we want to clear out the distance meter. So you just hold the select reset button for a couple seconds and you should see that the distance has cleared. And I like to install on the 3rd menu, which toggles between distance and speed. You kind of know where I'm at all times. So I want to have the speed all the way down, and I push the forward to engage the tractor drive, and I slowly increase the speed. So now we don't want to add any air yet until we get enough fiber into the duct. To get a good amount of fiber into the duct, And as your speed starts slowing down with just push force, gradually add air as needed to get that speed back up. Now we're only going to add maybe a bar or at most 2 at a time, just as needed to keep that installation going. Okay, so now that we got some fiber installed, our speed's starting to slow down a little bit, we're going to introduce some air. Just need to introduce just a little bit as needed to pick that speed right back up. All right, and again, speed has dropped some, so we're going to add another bar to a pressure, and we keep doing this to keep the speed going. So we keep adding air as our speed drops, just to keep that installation speed going. And now I'm at maximum air pressure available, and we'll just let it keep installing. Okay, now we're reaching the end of our kilometer run. It's coming out the other end. We're going to slow the machine down, disengage the tractor drive, shut off the air, and that's fiber optic cable installation with the Gulfstream 300.